Kingsmeadow Community Flat was started by a group of local residents a few years ago. They felt that it was a need to have something, a hub in the community that local people could come to, because there wasn't anything here. We're in the middle of social housing, and I know that back in the day when this small group of people were meeting up, they were getting help from the local authority to develop a space for local people. And since then, funding has come along, and here I am, the community development worker. I still work with a lot of the original members of that group, one of them, Diane, and she still lives the dream of what this flat is going to be, and I'm now here to help her. So I feel like we're doing lots of really nice things to bring this community place on the map, and to get more people to come out of their homes and come and see what actually can be done in a flat like this.
It's really been a great experience for me today because firstly, I've met people that I haven't seen for 60 years. Is it that long? No, 50. And that's been really great. I've never been here before, and I must say I am amazed at what goes on here. I think it's absolutely superb what they're doing.
You know, I do admire everybody that's put a lot of work into today. Again, I've had somebody massage me, a nice young man, which was a real treat. And it's just that the actual, you know, the ambience of the place, everybody's mucking in, they're all trying, and to make a community better, which you've got to agree, you know, most of us turn our backs on things like this. We don't want to know. We all go back in our houses, shut our front doors, and we don't help that much. But this place, I've got to admit, today has changed my mind totally about maybe getting off my own backside and maybe putting a little bit of work into something. And I must say, you know, to the girls and everybody that's concerned, it is a really, really marvellous place.
We're really wanting to work with young people, and specifically the ages that seem to fall through the net, you know, between the age of 14 to 18, perhaps the young people that are excluded from educational training, and the ones that have got quite a bad reputation in the area, to be hanging around and causing bother and nuisance. So we're trying to really build the gap and trying to improve the perception that they have in the community of being troublemakers. They've really shown us that they're not just the bad kids that are hanging around and trying to cause problems. They're actually kids that really want somewhere to go.
You can come here and just hang about with your mates and just have fun.
Instead of feeling out of the community, like hanging around the streets, feeling like you're like bad, but you're not. You're like,
because like you go in the streets and people will like look at you and say like you're gonna make trouble and all that, and you're not. You're not gonna make trouble just because you see a gang of kids. We're not all the same, and it's good to like know that you can be a community and people ain't gonna like think if you're judge you just because you're teenagers.
The dream scheme is where we help people around the area out, and then we get points for that. We get 10 points for like if we stay in there for 2 hours, we get 20 points. And then after we've got our points, we go and spend them somewhere. We get a treat, which is really fun.
How many points did you get?
About 180.
And where did you go?
We've gone climbing, we've done cheerleading.
I didn't do cheerleading. Not my type.
Dream Scheme helps you do the right things, so please come down and we'd like to help you make new friends, and we've got some great activities and jobs to do. Thank you.
I was born reasonably local to here in New Cheltenham. I was born in Hannam, but I have been here since I got deported from Mexico with the 3 kids. And I felt when I was deported that I was very lonely. Nobody understood, and I didn't understand why I was where I was, having had the vision that everything was being successful. And when I walked the dog around the estate, I was quite surprised how many young people are where I was then, now. But unlike then, there were lots of places to go, there were lots of people, you knew your neighbours. There are a lot of young mums here who live in the flats and don't know any neighbours, and they couldn't afford to go to a playgroup. They don't want to walk all up to Kingswood High Street. So we could offer that here. In fact, we are, and we do have a super little group, very diverse, very different, older young mums and younger ones. And the funny thing is too, that when we do crafts here, the mothers are worse than the children. They really love it. They've had some really good fun. And we do it during a lunchtime, which means we get the excuse to cook and do unusual food. And of course, we talked about young mums, but there are quite a few young dads. And I see them around the estate, and they go to Southey Park, and they're not sure what to do with these little ones. They are embarrassed in one way, and we would love too to see them come.
As a young mum, the difference that this communal place do for me is it gets me out of my 4 walls, basically. It gets me out and I get to spend more time with my children. And then as for the community, I think it gets children off the street and help them out a lot more.
I've met some really lovely people, some older people that wouldn't normally have been involved with the flat or come along to the flat, but have come along because of the pamper day or the coffee mornings. And they've all come back with some really positive feedback, saying, you know, it's lovely to get to meet other people in the area. The flat feels like their own home because it is very informal. It doesn't really look like somewhere where you hold meetings or anything like that. Intergenerational work is what we really want to focus on here at the flat, and that's something that we really want to home in on and try and get young people to, I don't know, bring back the respect that I know that I have for older people, and I think a lot of young people have, but some haven't. And I think also bring the respect that old people should have in return for the young people, and I think that's what the flat could do and be really successful at.
But since we've been involved with Dream Scheme, the children that I know around here now is marvellous, because you get to know one, then you get their friends come along, and now I only got to go along the road and I hear sort of, morning John, afternoon John, you know, and they all know me. You know, so I got to know the youngsters mostly through Dream Scheme and with the flat, you know, so.
I think the future at this flat is really bright. Every day is different. Every day is really fun. Every day is really interesting, and every day brings me a new chapter, and it feels like we're moving on, and it's a real positive, bright future.